I'm Simran and I have a fear of abandonment. I see it as being lonesome and not having anyone to depend on ever. I'm not sure if it has that much of a serious impact on my life because I still do try to live life to its fullest. But I suppose it does come in when building relationships with friends, guys, anything like that, and especially because my relationships with my family at home aren't that close either. I often keep people at an arm's length or across the wall just so I don't get disappointed by that person, or if they were going to come into my life, they're not going to be leaving me either. I think my fear resulted from my childhood. My parents were divorced. I'm an only child. Had to do a lot of things on my own. Didn't really have anyone to talk to about anything. Went through depression, but I had to deal with that on my own as well. So building this self-reliance and not really having any family or friends back then kind of probably led to this abandonment fear, and hence why I don't really like opening up to people now in case they do leave or they're not able to, I suppose, help me out. I don't have hope in people, everyday people around me to make me feel better. I suppose this fear is linked to, the memories of when I had depression and just being in that sort of place all on my own, and that feeling of abandonment, of not having anyone there. And so now not having depression anymore, obviously I have a fear of being depressed as a whole again, and I suppose that's probably linked to the abandonment that I felt then as well. I wouldn't want to go back to that place again, and building up this self-resilience and basically just depending on myself has kind of worked out for the better of me because I don't have depression anymore, but it's also quite lonely to the point where I can't really depend on anyone else. I suppose a story that kind of literally shows why and how my abandonment issues kind of came about was I was dating a guy for 2 weeks. It was going great. We became really close. He was saying all these things about trying to be there for me, didn't have to be lonely anymore, promised me everything. But I was going to Europe for a month. He ended up buying a ticket to Athens to meet me there. And I was like, it's great, it's a real deal. And then he turned out that he didn't want anything, and we were going through a bit of a rough patch. The next night, he slept with someone else. Kind of just all my fears and all that kind of stuff was just played out right in front of me, from the beginning to end. And I suppose links back to even familial issues with my parents. My dad wasn't really ever there, but even my mum, as she was supposed to be there, but she wasn't. Back to this guy as well, and it's I thought you were going to be there for me, but you just ended up just tearing everything down. I haven't had treatment for abandonment issues specifically, but I had treatment for depression when I was going through it. But I don't think treatment kind of even helped me really understand that either. I kind of just thought of all of my psyche on my own and got better, which is probably another reason why I don't really like relying on other people, even psychologists. I think that my fear is justified. Didn't come from nowhere. On the level of rationality, I'm not going to have it take over my life. I can't hold myself back from every good opportunity because of this fear, and then that would be being irrational.